Hi, welcome to my channel. This is Joyful DIYs, and I'm Joyful Day. Each week, I upload a new DIY based on your vote in the comment section below, and I will give more information about that at the end of the video. This DIY dress is super easy with no buttons or zippers to worry about. Let's jump right in. The materials that you're going to need are a sewing machine, thread, scissors, measuring tape, something to write with, safety pins, and I use magnets instead of actual pins. I'm a no-pin household, so I use magnets and safety pins instead. I have seen other people that use these little clips, and I would love to get some of those, so maybe if I find some of those, I'll get some of those later. But it's really nice to not have to worry about dropping a pin and finding it later, so I do that. And then I'm also going to be needing elastic. I'm going to need about 2 yards of about 1/4 of an inch elastic. And then of course you're going to need the material. What I'm using this week is thrifted material. This is a twin sheet, and it looks like it's been cut, so I don't think this is even a full twin sheet, so we'll see how much I get out of that. And I'm going to be using a bed skirt for the ruffle, because why not? Lots of ruffle on that bed skirt. And then also some white material just for anything else that I might need that for. All of this stuff I did get from the thrift store. If you go to your Goodwill outlet store, usually you can buy things per pound, and then I just look for bedding or curtains, and that gives me the most material for my buck. I'm going to go over this step by step with tips along the way. First off, the skirt. I do the skirt first because it takes the most material, and then I will see what I have left over for the top and of course the sleeves. This is a really short material, so I'm not sure how short of a skirt I'm going to end up with. But that's okay, because that's why I have this extra bed skirt, because that gives me several more inches to have a decent length skirt. To start the skirt, fold the material in half long ways. And then, now this part from here to here will determine the length that your skirt can be, minus the width of your waist measurement. So how I do this is I take the length of the material, fold it in a triangle so I can see how far down the top will be of the material, and then from that point fold it in half again. So you have a square of material here that's folded in and has 4 sides, and then this tail of the material, which is going to be used for the top and the sleeves. So at this point, I am going to cut out 7 inches here, because that gives a wider width of a waist to fit more sizes of people, and it also makes it to where there's more ruffle if you give it just a little bit extra wide to your waist measurement. And then from here to here, I'm going to see if I have about 17 inches. And if not, it's okay because I'm going to add this ruffle to the end of the skirt. So I just measured this, and I'm going to go ahead and cut 7 inches here for the waist of the skirt. It gives extra width for more sizes, and it also makes it a little extra ruffly. And then I'm gonna cut 16 inches from here to here for the length of the skirt in a circular fashion, and as well in a circular fashion down here. I'll show you what I mean. So I fold one corner into a triangle, and that gives me the length that the skirt can possibly be. From here, I grab this piece, fold it over like this, and then I just unfold that corner. So that gives me a good, perfect square. The other thing that you can do is put the center of your skirt right here, fold it, and then you would have a shorter piece in the front and a longer piece in the back, and that would create you a high-low skirt. But I'm doing this one a circle skirt, so I'm going to leave this one perfectly as it is. So cut out the 7-inch mark, and then cut out the 16-inch mark. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut at the 7-inch mark. And then with the waist part cut out, I'm going to cut 16 inches down and cut this part out. So I just use a fold over technique in order to cut my skirt. It's just quicker, and it gets my measuring tape out of the way. I have accidentally snipped off the end of my measuring tape while making a circle skirt before, so I just use the fold over technique to cut the bottom of my circle skirt. And then this whole piece will be what I get to use for the top. For the skirt that's next, I have to fold down an inch here, and that will create a sleeve for my elastic to go through. And then also I'm gonna roll these over once, roll it over again, and do that rolled hem to the entire bottom of the skirt. So now I'm gonna bust out my sewing machine and sew the skirt. I'll start with the top loop that I'm making for the elastic. So like I said, I'm going to take it about an inch. And I will let you see what that looks like. So there it is. That gives me about an inch so that I can pull my elastic through once it's done being sewn. So I just keep twisting the material a little slightly towards the top to keep the seam in a curved shape. Now I can roll hem the bottom. I am going to go ahead and straight stitch this hem just because I think it looks nicer. Okay, so now I have hemmed the bottom and I'm going to go ahead and start on the top. So the two measurements that you're going to need are the largest measurement around you. For me, that was my bust line. And then add a couple of inches. And then also your top. You're going to want to add a couple of inches there. 1/2 inches long by 24 inches wide right here. And then this can be cut into 2 pieces, and that will give me the front and the back for my top. This little extra scrap of fabric I'm going to be able to use to make a bow for my hair. And then this extra long piece will be for the sleeves. For the top, I'm adding in an extra little bit of fabric to give myself a little bit more length. So that gave me the extra width that I needed. Now I'm going to sew the elastic loop in the top of the top. To do this, I'm just folding this piece of fabric down about an inch. And attach the two together by sewing the seam. Don't forget to leave an opening for your elastic. I'm adding the elastic to the top just like I did with the skirt, and going to safety pin the bottom safety pin about here so that it doesn't go all the way through. Now we can start on our sleeves. With this last strip of fabric, I'm going to fold it in half and then cut it into 2 pieces so that I can make 2 sleeves. Now I have 2 long strips for the sleeves, and I'm going to fold over one side about an inch and make an elastic loop. Okay, and now we sew the loop on the other side. Again, just fold down about 1 inch and start sewing. Okay, so this is one sleeve. Now I'm going to add the elastic loop on the last sleeve. Now I'm going to add the last elastic loop on the last sleeve. So now that I've got these 2 sleeves done, which of course are really long, but it will make it really ruffly. For the sleeve ruffle, cut out 2 strips of fabric, one for each sleeve, that is the same length as the sleeve, and roll hem this whole edge and attach this edge to the line right here so that you still can use this sleeve for the elastic. What I've decided to do to the sleeve is leave the very tip of the elastic out and then give myself seam allowance for the sewing machine, and then put a pin right here so that my elastic won't pull all the way through, and it will make sure that I can still sew right there on the edge. To add the ruffles to the sleeves, make sure that the ruffle lines up directly on this seam as to not get the elastic band sleeve caught, so that we can still put the elastic band through. Now I'm adding the ruffle to the under part of the skirt, leaving the nice sides both facing down. To make sure that we put the sleeves on correctly, I safety pinned on the back, and then I'm going to safety pin on the front right where I want it. Yeah, that looks right. And then do the same thing to the other side. And then we're just going to sew on those 2 parts, and that'll be it for the top. Now I'm adding the ruffle to the under part of the skirt, leaving the nice sides both facing down. And now that I've made this fabulous dress, it's time for the poles. My first idea for a dress DIY is a soldier salute. My dad was in the military. As a salute to anyone who is in the service or who has served, because my dad's always been my hero. Dress number 2 is a Rococo inspired floral print. It will have lots of ruffles and tie in the front, so there will not be any zippers or any buttons in that one. Number 3 is a transformation dress that I'm really excited about. Pokemon Eevee to Sylveon dress. I've been thinking about this for a while now, and I'm really excited to try a transformation dress. So dress number 1, dress number 2, or dress number 3, mention down in the comments below, and we'll see next week what you chose. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day. See you next week.